Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening to wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is that time of week where a guest joins us. Check him out on ESPN Radio with Freddie and Harry. The Right Time's very favorite, Shannon Penn. What's going on, my brother?
Yes, sir. And it's funny. It's funny. When the Giants Daboll news came out, I was looking at my phone like, I wonder at what point Bo gonna hit me up.
I let you live, man. I let it, because the thing was, we were so busy, we had to try to get something cracking over here for what happened with Daboll. I had a pretty good idea that I knew what your feelings on the matter were. But, however, like, y'all had that 1 year. You know what I'm saying?
Like, and he did lead him to the playoffs, but what was the overall record? 20, 39?
I think it's 20, 40, and 1.
20, 39, and 1. 20, you can't give him that extra loss. 20, 39, and 1, or whatever it was.
You're right, my bad.
I didn't dislike Daboll. Like, I liked Daboll. But they had to do it. Like, it was time. Like, it was time. Everybody felt it. My man was out here panicking, fighting for his life. This is my life. He was fighting for his life, going in the concussion tent, costing that boy Jackson Dart 4 concussion protocols now. It was time. He was fighting, though. He was fighting for his life. But,
hold up.
But in the end,
I need people to understand something about Shannon. Now, I have known Shannon now for nearly 20 years. We're like at 18, pushing 19 at this point, right? So I've met Shannon right around the Giants sneaking that 1 Super Bowl, right? We were doing a radio show in 2008. When they snuck the Super Bowl over the Patriots, and then they snuck that other Super Bowl. So, like, when we talk about the post-Coughlin Giants and how it's all falling apart, we got to be real. If they hadn't snuck those 2 Super Bowls, and look, I get it, they Super Bowls, we'd really be talking about, like, 20-something years of this, right? Like, that's what we would be saying. But anyway, I've had the ability to delicately but somewhat playfully antagonize Shannon for a very long time. Nothing quite like that time when the Eagles came back from them 4 touchdowns in the second half that time, and Shannon's wife, who was an Eagles fan, turned on the post-game show on the laptop to make her watch it. Back when it wasn't that easy to do that, before the internet had come around this place. Back when Shannon was a little bit more hot-headed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Shannon it was tough times. And I used to be able to send Shannon texts about the Giants joking, but like, he knew what time it was. We was all together, right?
You mean to tell me, like, after every Eli Manning pick, you were saying, "What's up with your boy?"
Yeah,
what's up with your mans?
Yeah,
what's up with your mans?
Because I was helping you cope, and you like.
Okay, right.
We was all together on this one. What I learned very quickly though was this year, Jackson Dart made Shannon feel something on the inside that he ain't know he could feel no more, right? This white dude out here thinking like he's shooting dice, right? He the CeeLo champ of Kaysville, Utah. He got Shannon charged up. I can't imagine how bad you were at Brian Daboll messing with your new homeboy.
And you know what this is? I'm glad you made that point about how hot-headed I used to be and where I am now. You know what? This is growth for your boy. This is growth. And I want to take this opportunity right now to formally apologize to Jackson Dart. I'm sorry, Jackson. I was unfamiliar with your game. On and off the field. My bad, man. I was in my fields. I wanted the Giants to draft the black quarterback. That was on me. I wasn't aware of how you get down and how you got down. My apologies, my man. Like, taking care of business on the field, but more importantly, bringing the aura or whatever the kids use now on the field. Obviously with Scatterbull as well. My man rolling dice, doing the whole celebration thing. I was unfamiliar. My bad, man. That's on me. From one G to another now. My bad, Jay.
Yo, did you see Malik Neighbors put on Instagram like this joint about Jackson Dart? It's like Jackson Dart's at his parents' house and he's talking all prim and proper, and then the second he gets out the door, he's like, "Yo, what's up, brothers?" You know what I'm saying? There are so many questions, right, that I have there. I would love to know how much Jackson Dart hates Zach Wilson. Like, you remember Utah's own Zach Wilson when he was at the draft and the brothers was all doing all they dap and everything else, and Jackson Dart looked like he was in the middle of gang crossfire. I'm not Jackson Dart, Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, right, my bad. Zach Wilson, he was out there like, "Oh, what am I supposed to do?" Jackson Dart would have been in there like, "Yo, what's going on? Hold on the black hand side now. Yeah, there we go, big dog."
It's like the episode of Fresh Prince when Carlton Wooden
Yes.
hung out in the hood.
Yes. Except Jackson
selling
Dart.
Gucci bags.
Except Jackson Dart would already be there and have judgment, right? He would be trying to get Carlton to spit his lit. But now Brian Daboll was out here trying to get your boy hurt.
Right. 4 times in a concussion protocol for a rookie quarterback is irresponsible and it's dangerous.
Yes.
And the Giants couldn't put up with this. Like, I get it. If you're Daboll, you're trying everything. Like, hey, I need this young man to save my job. Like, I get it. You fighting for your life. I absolutely get it. But you can't do that at the expense of this young man's health. And I think that's where that was the tipping point. And what, Sunday's game against the Bears, I get it. You don't have it in run game, no pass game, so you got to have him do everything. But it became a point where enough was enough. And if you're the Giants, now, it's like, hey, Kafka will give him a shot as this on the interim to see what he's got. And then starting this week, we got some quarterback news, don't we, Bo, on my Giants?
Oh, yeah, we're going to get there. But let me tell you this right fast. I had this realization about Daboll. Okay. And I said on the last show that we did, I talked about Daboll, and I made the point that if you have to save your job, you've already lost your job, right? Like, it's not your job. You're actually trying to get it back if you are trying to save your job. And I don't really work them corporate jobs, but I know some of them terms that people talk about. And now we got new terminology that we could use under these circumstances, which is they had put Daboll on the performance improvement plan, AKA a plan. You up on you know about the plan, huh?
What's up?
So the performance improvement plan is when they call you into your job and they let you know, hey, your performance has not really been up to snuff, but we're going to put you on a plan to get better. But once they put you on the plan, there's no coming back, right? There's no coming back from that. And so you're Daboll. They put him on a plan. How many people actually, like, the rare person who makes the turnaround when they put him on a plan was actually Tom Coughlin. Because remember, there was the mutiny, the fellas that had enough of his guff.
That 07 season, like after the 0-2 start, and they were like, hey, we tired of this. Like this showing up early stuff, this ain't working. Like, we need to open up the offense. We need to do something. And they turned it around.
Right. Like, we don't like you and we're losing. It can't be these two things. But Shannon hit on it. Jackson Dart, we are assuming, is not going to play because he got his egg scrambled again. And so the Giants, and this makes me raise a question about Daboll, but the Giants have decided, look, man, we just can't keep putting Russell Wilson out there. And so now we're going to have some fun, and Jameis Winston is going to start in this game against the Packers. Now, I want to take this back to Daboll because I do think this is interesting. I am curious your thoughts. Clearly, Daboll had no faith in Russell Wilson, right? And by the way, nor should he have. Like, that is a reasonable position that he had. But as we have established, Brian Daboll's job one was, I'm not going to get fired, okay? Now, I don't know if he thought that Russell Wilson would save his job, but I know he is certain that Jameis Winston would have gotten him fired. Right? The last time we had seen Jameis Winston play football, he was better than the last time we had seen Russell Wilson play football, you could argue, right?
Right.
All these situations where Russell had been coming in there during these concussions, that could have very easily been Jameis Winston. It said Daboll knew, hell no, he is going to get me fired. No chance. Right. No chance. Right. Now Kafka is like, I'll never get this job if Russell Wilson is the quarterback.
Well, and that's the thing with Jameis, it's high risk, high reward. And that's the thing, like, Jameis is going to throw a ton of picks, but he's going to let that thing go too. And you thought initially with Russ, it was like, hey, he's great at the deep pass. But then at some point, Russ forgot how to throw the deep pass. Russ forgot how to throw, period. As we saw in that Kansas City game, and as we saw this past week in Chicago, like, Russ forgot how to throw the ball, and he just looked old. And you couldn't, as the Giants, you can't move forward with that. So at least with Jameis, you're gonna have some fun. Like, that's the thing. You got to you're selling tickets. You got to sell something to your team, especially with your most likely a franchise quarterback going to be out for some time. You had to sell something. You couldn't sell to your fans moving forward, like, hey, for the rest of this year, you're gonna get a lot more of these Russell Wilson games. You couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. So at least with Jameis, it's gonna be entertaining. He gonna run around. We're gonna get those pregame speeches now. He might eat a dub, although they're gonna be taking losses. Like, at least you have something to watch, as compared to what Russ wasn't able to give you down the stretch of the season.
People really like Jameis. They enjoy Jameis. I told you, man, I still can't believe I ran up on him in Morningside Park on a Sunday morning in the summer of 2024. I have no idea why he was there. So what is interesting to me though, like Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston are kind of sort of different sides of the same coin, which is many find each of them to be a bit disingenuous.
Right.
But Jameis does it in the fun way.
Right.
Jameis is absolutely trying to win you over, but I don't feel like he's not who he is when he tries to win you over. I have no idea who Russell Wilson is. I got a real good handle on what Jameis Winston is. The problem is also some indications of what he might be capable of. But I know exactly who he is, and it's fun when it's fun.
Right, and that's the thing with Russ. At times, he's come off as disingenuous, whereas like Jameis, hey, the character that is Jameis is the character that you're gonna get. You know, when the cameras are on and when they're off, and teammates seem to gravitate around that, gravitate towards that. Excuse me. So with Russ, that wasn't the case. You could just tell. It's like yes, both guys are deep rooted in their faith, but it seemed at time that although, see if this makes sense. Although Jameis preached, Russ came off as more preachy.
Yeah, he did.
That makes sense.
But it's weird because Jameis sound exactly like the preacher you shouldn't trust.
What was David Allen Gray on Martin? That's his character, right?
Yeah. Jameis is exactly Jameis explaining to me why my money ain't going nowhere that I can see. Right? Like Jameis is explaining to you why God sent that Cadillac. why it was imperative, in fact, that he had that Cadillac.
So Russ is officially done, right?
He's cooked.
Like Russ is done.
Yeah, right? I feel like unless he's willing, and maybe he is willing to take those jobs where there's no chance you ever play, but can't nobody put him back out there, man.
He looks so old. So my question for you now, looking back, if Russ that we knew, star quarterback Russ is done. Right. So now, how do you think his time at the end of Seattle, his time with Denver those 2 years, now with Pittsburgh and now with the Giants, how has that impacted how we view Russell Wilson? I'm not even getting to a Hall of Fame candidacy, just how he's viewed overall, because in Seattle, he was the quarterback looked at, he couldn't do any wrong. Now that perception has totally been flipped, especially after what happened in Denver.
Well, what's interesting about it is, so I remember when things started going bad in Denver, I used to use the Apple News app a lot. And it was stunning how the algorithm every day just sent me how terrible Russell Wilson was, right? Like it was all kinds of different things. People hate Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson can't do this, everything else. Like I can't think of a time when a turn has happened on a player that felt quite like it did with this guy, who was ultimately really inoffensive. And I think that has colored the way that people have talked about his career, right? Now you say we're not talking about Hall of Fame candidacy. Let's put that up there though. I don't buy the idea that you could play yourself out of the Hall of Fame, right? If you ever thought that man was a Hall of Famer, then he is a Hall of Famer. Now, an interesting comparison is him and Stafford, and people who listen to this show know I talk about Stafford all the time, but Stafford is probably going to make the Pro Bowl this year for what I believe would be the 4th time. Matt Stafford, because of how he's playing really this year, is going to make it into the Hall of Fame. Right? Like I think, oh, by the way, it'll be his 3rd time if he goes this year.
Wow. Okay.
Russell Wilson's been in the Pro Bowl 10 times. Now, I'm not saying that Pro Bowls are the ultimate metric, right? But the metrics that people have typically used, Russell Wilson clears them. He's won a Super Bowl as starting quarterback. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's had how many seasons of 30 touchdowns? Say what you want about the defense that they had in Seattle. It wasn't like Russell was out there throwing a Swan and Stallworth when he was getting this done. Like he had his flaws as a player, but if you ever thought that he was a Hall of Famer, then I don't think that what has happened these last couple of years would take him out. But I'm a person that thinks that longevity is typically overvalued when people talk about whether or not you go into the Hall of Fame. To me, it's like, what were you at the peak of what you had? Now, he was never first team or second team All-Pro. That's another fair discussion. But if you ever thought he was a Hall of Famer before, I think that means he's a Hall of Famer now.
So looking back at those Seattle teams, like right now on the face, without having to look up all the numbers, how many of those guys from that Seattle team do you think ultimately make the Hall of Fame?
I think Russ makes it. I mean, I'm still going to say I think he does. Now, It'll be interesting. It may take a while, but I think the resume is kind of difficult to fight. Marshawn Lynch is going to be the interesting one. I think he probably gets in because of scarcity at the position in the time period, and he's generally a liked guy. But I think him. Then on defense, Bobby Wagner, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman.
There's no disagreement there. Like I thought all three of those guys. Like some will try to make an argument for Cam Chancellor there, but I think, it's fringy. I don't see it happening. The Earl Thomas is interesting. Like at one point, he was in that conversation for best defensive player in the league.
Yes.
Like I get like everybody looked at Sherm because he talked, and we know how solid Wagner was. But Earl Thomas was the best defensive player on that team.
I agree. Or like Bobby Wagner's going to walk in there.
Of course.
Earl Thomas, I think people have just kind of forgotten, but I think it's pretty clear that he is going to go in there. Yeah, with Cam Chancellor, just a reminder, safety is a tough position. It took Steve Atwater 30 years to get into the Hall of Fame. Well, not 30, but it was, like a significant period of time for him to get into the Hall of Fame. But yeah, Russ, again, the distaste that people seem to have for him. That's the part that I find to be so strange I get it. He's a bit annoying, but he don't do nothing to nobody.
He's harmless, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately harmless.
And so, hey, man, we got to run with the point that Ryan made before the show. I asked the question, man, what the name of the podcast that Russ and Sierra going to be? Or is it going to be a reality TV show where they go find wayward boppers, influencers, and pop stars and help them find themselves an athletic man?
No, hell, that could be a podcast itself.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to make a whole TV show about that one.
and two, like it's all gonna be relationship based though, right?
Yes.
Like whatever it is, whether it's the podcast or reality show, it's gonna be relationship based, right?
With a lot, like, with a dollop of the savior.
Well, that's ever present.
Yes.
That's always going to be that. That's because that was able to happen. Remember, it was preyed on. So that's where it starts.
Remember when Russell Wilson tried to convince us that somehow they had started doing that thing, and then they. Yeah, whatever you say, dog. That was. I'll tell this right fast. This would be a chat. I think we were doing a radio show together by then. And long and short, Russell Wilson got on some TV show and told everybody that he and Sierra decided that they was going to be celibate until they got married. And that became a topic on television. And, I'm built different than a lot of people. And so people would talk about it. And some folks would talk about how they was impressed by that. And I was not. I'm not impressed by you not having sex with Sierra. Not at all. Boy, one of my colleagues jumped on Twitter and got mad at me. And he said that I owed an apology to him and everybody else who believed in his Lord. And I was like, that's not happening, sir. You must be crazy. Hell no. What are you talking about?
Out here being celibate after you're already dating Sierra. There's a dude I know who says that's
after y'all already was doing it.
Right. That would be actually defined as hustling backwards.
Correct.
Like, what are we doing? We're here now. Like the proverbial toothpaste is out of the tube.
Yeah.
Like we here now. We made it.
Good, yeah. Good for you, homie. Right? like I'm giving the most backhanded. Yeah. Good for you. But anyway, the podcast is coming.
Okay.
Now, is Russ gonna be bad for business? Is he gonna mess up the podcast?
I think he'll find a lane. I think they'll find a lane because you got, like you said, the amount of people who are going to be into that, especially the church-going folks are going to be all in. The relationship folks, the folks, well, how can I snag me a baller?
Yeah,
there's absolutely a market for that.
See, that when Sierra write that book, that thing go fly off the shelves.
Look, man, you got to gatekeep some of this stuff, man. like what do they say? A magician can't reveal all of his tricks.
Yeah, but they gonna be so much paper in that. That's that book. The streets that I don't traffic on are clamoring.
Not to mention too, the game is so different now. Like how these kids move in these internet streets now, and the social media and the streams. Like I don't understand any of it. Like I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So I can't imagine the lengths in which some of these people do, sliding in DMs, fake FaceTimes, the whole nine. Like the game is out here.
The game's out here. Wait. Hold up. Let me ask something before we go get to break. I didn't expect that we talk 20 minutes of the Giants, but the Giants are actually giving us quite a bit right now. Like, I feel like
Right.
we're where the people are. We're not just doing this for ourselves. But you had made a point earlier, and we talked about this. The Giants have started a black man at quarterback on purpose one time, and they fired the coach for trying, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had fallen for the Shedeur Sanders thing like a lot of other people. And you were
Right.
hoping that the Giants would take him because honestly, y'all had never done that before. And then you saw that they got Jackson Dart, who I guess my point is every day somebody around Shedeur Sanders looks up and sees Jackson Dart acting like he's shooting dice and be like, yeah, but what if that was me, huh? What if that was me?
Points are made, but with that, like that's coming after the production. That's coming.
Oh yeah, you're correct. You're correct.
Like
but you know this. You know.
Oh my God, he could never. He could never.
God, can you imagine if he was doing half of that stuff? Like
he could never.
Like I think it's ridiculous, and I would think it was ridiculous if Jackson Dart did this. But I thought the Shedeur thing with the watch was ridiculous and incredibly off-putting. I don't want anybody 20 years old throwing money in my face. I'm sorry. Like that's just not
especially
the case.
Someone who grew up with money.
Yeah, we don't want that. And people have skepticism. Jackson Dart would get he'd have a Richard Mille deal out of that if he was out there. Like he is, like I'm telling you, Shedeur over there, like why he ain't going to fifth round? Huh?
But you look, you know what it really is though. Politics, man.
Politics. I'll tell you this though, they really don't want Shedeur starting in Cleveland at this point. Like
it's funny you bring up. I was mentioning this to somebody yesterday after we had the news that Travis Hunter was going to be out for the remainder of the year. That Colorado run seems so long ago now.
Like it never
happened. Doesn't it? Like think about it. That Shedeur, Travis Hunter, Deion Sanders, Colorado, all the top of the news stack every week, week in and week out for 2 straight seasons.
Yep.
That seems like such a long time ago.
Well, what's interesting is it proves it was really about the players. Like Deion was the start, but the coach couldn't sustain it. It was about the players, and they got some guys, right? That maybe at some point it could happen. I did see somewhere on the internet where one of them spam accounts is trying to make the argument about whether or not Colorado might be thinking about firing Deion Sanders. Shit. Deion could go win 4-5 games a year for them for 15 years, and as long as they selling tickets, right? They'll be happy. The only problem is, hey man, them boys gonna stop going.
That's the part too. Like that's the part too. Like you can sell me in the dream, but we gotta start winning some games too. Like I can't be out here, coming as a 5-star recruit and my stock dropping.
Yeah. Well, is Deion gonna be willing to change the way he's done this and like the strict transfer thing? That's not gonna work. Like, you're going to have some young boys. Like, look, Curt Cignetti up there at Indiana. He did a super transfer wave, but it was all, like, his guys.
His own guys, though, right.
From another place. But, they still got to figure that out. But, hey, coming up next, we got some things to get to here. I'm going to figure out which one do I want to tease the people with. Oh, maybe the funniest Nico Harrison story of them all. What if you could consistently find whatever it is you're looking for right away? We're talking everything from parking spots to holiday gifts to jackets or jeans that fit perfectly. Imagine how much time you'd save. While you may never instantly find these things, if you're hiring, you can find qualified candidates right away, time and time again with ZipRecruiter. And today, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology works fast to find top talent. With ZipRecruiter's advanced resume database, you can unlock top candidates' contact info instantly. Want to know right away how many qualified candidates are in your area? Look no further than ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. All right, we are back with my man Shannon Penn and Nico Harrison. They finally put him out of his misery. We have recorded a show on the hypothetical of Nico getting fired, but we didn't know he was going to get fired between the recording and the actual show, which, by the way, was like a 3-hour span. They announced what time they were going to fire him. They're like, yo, 10 o'clock Central. He going to walk in and he gonna get fired.
Like if you knew that, do you rehearse the firing? Like, look, boom, check this out. Look, here's what we're gonna do. Look, we getting rid of old boy at this time, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have him come in, right? And you just sit there. Look, you just sit there, and we can act like it's gonna be a regular meeting. When dude come in, that's when we drop the buyout on.
I tell you this though, if I'm Nico and I get that tweet, and I mean, first of all, when they was like Nico come in here at 10, he knew what was going on. But number two, and this is the real talk, man. I know how HR stuff go, man. You do that at 8 o'clock in the morning. You do that before anybody else come to work. You know what I'm saying? You let him come in, and then you let him roll out. Do you think they walked him out with security? Because it sounds like this sounds like the sort of thing you do so that everybody can see you walk him out.
That's absolutely what they did. My wife as an HR manager, it's absolutely. Like at one of her jobs, they used to bring you into the office, right? And you're getting fired when you're in that meeting. They got somebody else cleaning out your cubicle. They got the boxes, somebody else cleaning out your cubicle. So everybody know. So they walking you out, they hand you your box so you can take the walk of shame on the way out. That's absolutely what the Mavericks did.
Now, Ryan's saying 9:30 Eastern is the standard layoff time, but this wasn't a layoff, okay? They shit-canned him. They had all kinds of ways they could do this. They told the whole world that at 10 o'clock in the morning, they was going to fire him. Can you imagine what it was like that day at work? Everybody in the office know, and they just in there looking around, waiting for it to happen, right? Because there's nothing quite like when something's gone down in the office and nobody can really talk about it, but everybody paying attention to it. Like you remember that time that you was producing Stephen A's show and T.O. said that Max was blacker than him.
Yeah, those were some uncomfortable times.
Dog, we were all in the office that day, just like
I'm like, ooh,
what are we gonna do? Like it felt not the same situation, but it felt like in Boomerang when Marcus Graham showed up after he had got kicked to the curb, and everybody know it, and everybody just kind of talking to each other a little bit, and then Stephen A would come around the corner, and you have to straighten your back up because he was so hot. And that's what's going on. Imagine that Nico walk in an hour before everybody know what's going down at 10. First of all, if I'm Nico, once I read that shit, I'm out. I ain't saying nothing to nobody. I'm getting in my car. Y'all gonna have to tell me on the phone.
Right. Like, what's the point? What's the point of bringing him in? We already know what it is.
Right.
Like, we got technology. We can do this over FaceTime if you want. Like, I don't need to come in for you to tell me what we already know.
I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't have. I personally, unless you just really wanted the joy of firing him.
Well,
I'd rather talk to him on the phone too. Because look, man, he didn't do this alone, right? He did not do this alone. There's somebody else. But did you see this link when we sent it to you? Because if you didn't, I can't wait to tell you about this.
What's up?
Okay. Tim Cato used to write for The Athletic, writes for, them websites with no vowels?
Yeah.
Like the Dallas Sports, but it ain't,
DLLL.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this was in his Nico Harrison retrospective, suppose we'll call it. This is from the story, quote, "One team source recalls a document where Nico Harrison placed Jrue Holiday within the same tier of talent as Nikola Jokic."
Come on, man. Come on.
I can only come away from this with one conclusion, which is, well, hold on. There's one of two conclusions. It's really one conclusion. It just depends on how specific you want to get with it.
Right.
Is Nico's problem with white basketball players or with Europeans?
See, that's the question. See, that
there's no way in the
world.
Like, this right here is the Tony Banks can play of basketball analysis, right? Jrue Holiday, very, very, very good player, right? But I sent this to a friend of the show, and the friend of the show was like, well, we don't know how long ago Nico said this. How fucking far long back did you have to go to where you thought that Jrue Holiday, it wasn't while Nico was in charge of the Mavericks that this would be appropriate? Right? Like, so maybe on one hand, right, Nico's on the, hey, I value defense. everything else. Or maybe on the other hand, he's like, look, all them Ivic, Chivich, none of them. Don't want none of them on the team. Maybe that's where Nico is. But the second that he put that on an actual factual piece of work product, that's when they should have fired him.
Right. And my question to you, Bo, is with Nico, because obviously the Luka trade, like it comes down to like it's a ton of moves that he made that hadn't worked out, but it all comes down to the Luka trade. So how much of this getting rid of him now was, hey, we're off to a 3-8 start. The Lakers off to an 8-3 start. Luka went out here and lost weight. Luka's playing well, or was it just a combination of both? Like how much of it was Dallas struggling plus Lakers and Luka looking great so far?
They booing him every game. Okay? They booing him. Think about this. Jerry Jones has never done anything to hurt the people like this, right? So they booing him every game. Anthony Davis showed up looking chubby. Then he got hurt. And remember, the whole thing about Luka was he out of shape and he won't stay healthy.
Right.
In comes Anthony Davis on his kick. Then they're losing every game. Then, man, once the owner called the fan down in the Doncic jersey and talked to him, and the fan then says that Dumont told him that it was all a mistake. Like, it had to be done. There was no way around it. And to be fair to Nico, it turned into Murphy's Law immediately after this trade was made, right? Everything that could possibly go wrong then went wrong. I just want to get some clips of what Nico be saying about these white basketball players when nobody's around. Did they have to make him take Cooper flag? You know what I'm saying? I feel like that is the equivalent of if somebody had said that like Wes Welker was the same caliber of player as Cam Newton. Right? Or do you remember when people used to try to tell us that Wes Welker and Randy Moss, it was kind of the same, right? They just did different things.
Yeah. Which one of these is not like the other? Like, come on, man.
That's what I feel like when I hear that Nico said this. Like, I want to. So, this is a very good documentary about Louis Armstrong that I think Sasha Jenkins did, but it was on Apple TV. But anyway, I had known about this before. But Louis Armstrong would be out there smiling a lot. I am trying to avoid saying that he was skinning and grinning, but it was a different time. So anyway, I see leaves of green, big smile, all that stuff, right? And every night he would go home.
Said you weren't gonna mention
red roses too. But every night, Louis Armstrong would come home, and as a journalist sorts, he would record his thoughts on tape. And many of those thoughts were about how much he could not stand white people. Good gracious. Now, look, Louis Armstrong at that time, you couldn't really blame him, right? But anyway, I need to see the Nico diary. If he think that Jrue Holiday was in the same class as Jokic, right? He'd be out there walking around being like, they call him Joker. I call him Jokic because he a joke. That's what he is, a joke.
What happened to the basketball I knew? What happened to the basketball I grew up on?
Hey, man, imagine if that boy Pods from the Warriors was on the Mavericks. Have you seen? So the Warriors, I did not realize this. Basketball season gets started, and I kind of pop in and out, and the Warriors started off on fire, and people were talking about how they were championship contenders, and then I look up today, and they lost 6 games in a row on the road, right? So Draymond Green questioned the commitment to winning of the team. He said, I think everybody was committed to winning back then and doing it any way possible. Right now, it doesn't feel that way. Anthony Slater of ESPN.com said in his piece that it really sounded like he's talking about Pajemski, that is his name, the boy Pods for the Warriors, and Kuminga. But I think he's really just talking about the Pods dude. And I learned things about him that I did not know. First of all, did you know that he gave a quote this summer leading up to the season where he was asked if he wants to be as great as Steph Curry, and he said he wants to be better than Steph Curry. And then the whole locker room was like, word. So he from Milwaukee, right?
Okay.
They're playing the Bucks, did a lot of media because of it. And apparently he used to play baseball. and that man said that if he played baseball, he would be White Ohtani.
Yeah, good luck with that, my
All
boy.
right, so he thinks he could be better than Steph Curry. He thinks that he could be as good as Ohtani. And what I take from that is, wow, Anthony Edwards is incredibly charming because he has basically said all of these things, and we find it all delightful when he says it. When this Pods guy says it, we're like, man, if you don't sit your ass down with this nonsense, right? Like, no, like we know Anthony Edwards isn't joking, but it kind of feels like he's joking. This guy isn't joking at all. And now the guys around him are like, bruh, if you don't chill.
But here's the thing, though, especially with this organization, like we seen with this organization, and more specifically, Draymond does to these kind of young whippersnappers who be out here popping off a little too much. keep that shit up, and you getting annexed to Washington. You know what I'm saying? Okay, all right, young fella. Okay, look, you want to be better than Steph Curry?
Look,
how's playing in Barclays feel for you,
brother? They got tired of Clay. And he had to go.
Like, I'm all one for confidence. Like, I get it. Like, to be able to perform at that level, you got to have a certain level of confidence. But also, my boy, you got to read the room as well. Like, yo, like that Steph quote, like, I'm all for confidence, but yo, you still play with Steph.
Yo,
like, he's your teammate. You can't do that, my guy. What are we doing?
See,
what are we doing?
That's why we need like some old school Michael Jordan Magic types, because that would and maybe Steph did it, but that would have been met with the most vicious practice of all time.
Not to mention too, like you talk about making a comparison to Ant, but Ant got skins on the wall. I know no championship yet, but man got all NBAs and things like that. First overall pick. Like you can say that. You can say that.
Ant isn't averaging 12 points a game.
Right.
That's really what we're saying here. Anthony Edwards is averaging more than 12 points per game.
I do wonder with the Warriors, and yes, they had success in the postseason, getting past the Rockets last year. I do wonder, though, because the pod thing is a real thing, because they need those young guys to step up. Like, you had all the contract stuff with Kuminga this offseason, he re-upped. Like, they need those guys to step up because we know Steph, Draymond, Jimmy, they're long in the tooth. That's a lot of basketball miles on those legs. So, like, they're going to have to put up with pod and the podisms and whatever. I'm sure he'll come up with something. They got to put up with that because they need them dudes now. You know, like before, when they made the run before, that was more of a luxury with your Jordan Pooles and that guys like Moody. Like, they need those guys now. And I don't know if, especially looking with the West, if that's going to be enough for the Warriors to be what the Warriors were hoping to be.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, they got a bunch of dudes that are ticking time bombs to get hurt. Jimmy Butler is not going to play a lot of games, right? Draymond Green, I can't believe he's kept this going as long as he has.
Right.
Like, he looked cooked. In the 2022 finals, he looked cooked in that postseason and then brought it back around where people weren't even, they were like, shoot, we don't care. They were playing 4-on-5 on offense, and he has still managed to keep this whole thing together. But the thing with the West is, it looks to me like, I don't know what this Lakers thing is, right? Because the Lakers, imagine how much Nico got to hate it, man. Nico is Luka, is Reeves, is LaRavia.
Yeah,
right?
LaRavia looking good.
Nico would have quit his job before he led that particular team. But I think it's Oklahoma City and the Nuggets, to me, are going to be the clear top two teams. And we still have the grand possibility of this is the super leap year for my man Vic.
That's the thing. That's the biggest wild card in the league this year. Is like injuries aside, barring injury. Like, that's the question. We know the leap is coming. How big of a leap?
Yes.
That's the thing. Are we going from another all-star leap? Or are we going to all NBA top 3 MVP leap?
Well,
because if that's the case, like, oh buddy.
Let's go get a look at these stats, buddy. Because I know he's shooting 32% from 3, which I don't like. Like, he's shooting too many of those. But okay, in 34 minutes a game, Victor is giving them 25, 13 boards, 3.5 assists, 4 blocks, and a steal.
4 blocks.
4 blocks.
4 blocks. Well,
4 blocks in this NBA is crazy.
4 blocks, right? Where dudes aren't really playing in the paint anymore. Like back in the day, like when you had the Mutombos, your Olajuwons, that was more back to the basket. Guys were driving more. Like everybody's shooting threes now. So to be able to get 4 blocks in today's NBA that's like equivalent to averaging 6 or 7 blocks back in the day.
Yes, that is exactly.
Crazy.
Those are like Manute Bol shot block numbers that he's putting up. Hold on, in 34 minutes.
Right. And like doing like every night now, like it's getting to the level now because you and I used to always joke, hey, you see what LeBron did last night?
Every day.
Wemby's getting to that point, like, yo, did you see what Wemby? You see the crossover and the step back he hit on Vucevic? Like, yo, like he's doing stuff now. It's rare that we can still say in 2025 in this sports world that we're seeing something that we never have seen before.
Yeah.
Like, how crazy is that?
And the Spurs seem to like him now. That was a little iffy before. I think a big part of it is, if I'm not mistaken, that boy Cisco is hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Cisco was a problem, man. Me and my brother hate Cisco so much, man. We're like, why don't y'all throw oops every time down the floor? Like, in the video game when you first learned how to throw the oop and you just do it all the time. Why don't you throw the oop every time down the floor?
Like you playing NBA running gun. Every time down the court.
So Cisco's played 4 games this year, but we would be out there watching when Cisco was out there, and they would just be like, yo, Cisco, why don't you pass the ball? Like, we just call you Cisco because of your hair. We don't call you Cisco because you the lead singer.
See, that's the thing. My boy thought he was he thought it was blonde hair Cisco, but he was really platinum Cisco. Platinum hair Cisco.
He was. Yes, he was. Like, my brother would get so mad. We'd be talking about it. He'd be like, yo, it's Cisco, man.
Right.
Everybody would be so mad. Now when Victor hit them shots, they coming over to him. You know what I'm saying?
And see, and the interesting thing to watch here long term with the Spurs is because it's the Spurs, I'm inclined to think they'll be patient and let the young guys continue to grow, And whereas if it was another organization, you would start having those questions. All right, when is it time to package a couple of these young guys to bring in another star with them?
Right.
I think because it's the Spurs, I think they're cool letting this thing ferment naturally.
Yeah, but I think it's time. I mean, look, to me, the question they're going to have to ask themselves is the question I still ask myself is, like, exactly how good is De'Aaron Fox for business?
Bingo.
Right? Like, is De'Aaron Fox going to recognize, like, did they have a talk with him about how things work here?
And that's the thing, too. It's like they brought in Fox last year. They didn't anticipate that you're going to have Castle go out here and play Rookie of the Year at a Rookie of the Year level. So now you got Castle, so it's kind of making Fox expendable now. So that could be a guy that could eventually be on the move. I just wonder how they play this because it's always been the Spurs who have handled this or moved a little bit different compared to some of these other teams that was like, all right, we got to go out and make a move.
But the bottom line is this: if you stay, you just need to know what we do here. We give him the ball. Right? Yeah. Like, we know what you can do. We know what you got. Like, ain't nobody saying you're not cold, right? I don't want you to get this misunderstood. But that right there, that is the opening act, the headliner, and the after party. That's him.
Hey, look, I know how you used to kick it over there at Malibu Prep. Like, we get it, but this Belly Academy. There's only one offense we run on this team. There's only one offense we run.
Don't get this confused. Don't get this confused. By the way, have you seen that they try to change the All-Star game again?
It's so confusing.
So I don't really understand how this is going to work this time, but it's going to be y'all start talking about something on the internet and Adam Silver gonna do it. Right? Like, I think that has become very clear. And so it's the USA versus the world because everybody got so charged up during the 4 Nations thing. But I think people misunderstand the thing that makes the NHL a little bit different is they have a pretty even distribution of players from all these different countries. So you put something together like that, the we from different countries rivalry thing, I feel like it's a little different. You know what I mean? They have one where you got to have 16 American players, 8 international players. But if it's more than 8 international players, or you don't have up to the 16 NBA or American players, you add more. Like, they have to do things to make sure that everybody gets to the minimum number. And then it's some round robin shit that I don't really understand. But my thing is, hey, man, them American players don't care about it like that. And I don't think that you're going to get solidarity just the world on the other side.
You make like you were there, you were on the right path, but you didn't you didn't go in the right house. You were on the right block, but you didn't go in the right house. Like if you want to do U.S. versus the world, just make it U.S. versus the world, 2 teams. Like let that be it. Like it don't even have to be on this country pride stuff, but I think you would evenly distribute the teams between the U.S. and the American players. That's the intrigue right there.
Right.
Let me see the U.S. versus the world. It didn't need to be this round robin contrived 3-team thing. It don't need to be all that. Just give us U.S. versus the world. That's it. Or if you want to make it North America versus the world, whatever you want to do. But like this 3-team, and 3 teams, round robin, 4 games, championship, 12. That's way too much. That's way too much thinking. Just let me know like who's suiting up on this side, who's suiting up on that side, and let's rock. It's way too confusing.
I had not thought about the fact that the world get Canada.
See, that's why I had slipped in that North America. Maybe it needs to be North America versus the world.
I gotta be honest with you, man. America in trouble in this game. Okay, so the other team gonna have Jokic, Luka, Giannis, Shea, and Victor,
and Wemby. Yes, yes.
What?
Yeah. What team the U.S. try now? We got the Avengers. What we getting? Iron Man and Captain America. Like can we recruit the Hulk? Like what's going on?
Brother, America barely beat Serbia at the Olympics. We barely beat France at the Olympics. Right. Now we gonna let them all get together? Hey. We ain't even start talking about like Lauri Markkanen, right? Add a little Vucevic to the equation.
Right. Like there's some cold international players but that's the thing. It's like if you want to capitalize on that, like that's cool, but you can't make it as contrived as it is. And I think too, a couple of factors why the All-Star game lost some of its luster. Obviously the whole trying to make players care, like that's the thing. But I think, and it's similar to my thought is similar to baseball in the All-Star game as well. When you had before interleague play, the only time you got to see these guys playing was in the All-Star game or the World Series. But then with the NBA, now that everybody got league pass, we're seeing everybody all the time. Whereas before, for folks who didn't grow up with cable, or you would occasionally see the one nationally broadcast game, that might be your only time to see the Jazz or see whomever. Now we see all these dudes all the time, so the novelty of seeing these dudes that 1 or 2 times a year or playing together, that's gone. Plus, these dudes move around so much anyway. Before, like the only time you would see a Malone and Stockton play with Olajuwon was an All-Star team. But now these dudes are already playing together anyway, so that novelty is gone, and the overall competitiveness not there because these dudes don't really care. Like that's the thing too.
I think we just need to drop one like Tyler Hansbrough type dude in there who can't turn it off and who just really cares all the time. Like you remember that time that D-Wade broke Kobe's nose in the All-Star game? Like you drop a Kobe into the game, you're going to, I told you.
Or think about that Dallas All-Star game when they played it at Jerry's World. Like you had like LeBron came down, LeBron and Kobe defending LeBron, and Kobe like shoot like even I'm D'ing you up. That's what the people want to see.
Right, but I'll say this to be fair. It was only a couple years ago with that whatever kind of ending they call it. I forget the name of it. But it worked and it led to a competitive game at the end. Like it can happen. I don't know what exactly it comes to, but if you just drop one maniac in here, that no matter like somebody who gonna be the one to hard foul in the All-Star game. You know what I'm saying? One maniac is all we need. You tell me there's one maniac.
And they quasi tried to do this last year when they had like the G League All-Stars in there as well, because it's like, hey, we need to have some humble dudes willing to fight. The only problem is the general pop, they don't care about them dudes. Like we don't know them dudes, we don't care about them dudes. Like you tried. No, you got to give us the dudes we care about. And you got to make it seem like they care.
Yeah, basketball is not fun without defense, right? And look, that was the Pro Bowl problem. The NFL had this option. Once they realized that the dudes not only did not care, it was stupid for them to care.
Right.
Then they just turned it into flag football.
Right.
There is no version of that you can do with basketball. Like, how can you just turn this into something fun, right? Because the centerpiece of All-Star Weekend has been, for history, the slam dunk contest. And now it can't sustain us anymore, right? Like it's not possible to do enough to keep our interest. And then nobody wants to participate because everybody's afraid of getting embarrassed.
That's the thing. It's like previously it was pride on, hey, I'm the best dunker in the league, or I'm the best shooter in the league. Here's how I prove how. And to your point about nobody wants to get embarrassed, because the ultimate answer to all of this will be a one-on-one tournament. Like that's the ultimate. But dudes aren't going to want to go out here and play a knockout game or whatever because they're too scared to get embarrassed. Like if we got back to the essential part of the competitiveness of, I'm about to whoop your ass. Let's do it. Dudes will be up for that. The crowd will be into it. You give us a one-on-one in which dudes actually cared about it.
Yeah.
Like that's all the intrigue you need.
And keep it game to 5, right? Like make it intense.
Easy, right?
Go
super
get
easy.
that.
Like it was funny. I was listening to a KG tell a story about when he was with the Celtics, and Austin Rivers was a junior in high school in practice, and before practice came in, he was playing one-on-one with Paul Pierce because that's how Paul Pierce liked to warm up. And like the amount of shit talking that a 16-year-old Austin Rivers was doing to these NBA players. So he beat Paul Pierce, then he beat Perkins, and then he rolled the ball over to KG. He was like, check up. And KG was like, what you talking about, check up? He was like, he threw it back to him, like, check up. So KG was like, yo, this little 16-year-old boy, I don't want to have to unleash the dragon on him, but I would like, so he dunked on KG and then started screaming. It was like, check up. KG was like, man, had to tie up my shoes and unleash the dragon on that boy and beat him 5-1. Like, that's the level of competitiveness that we need in the All-Star game, where these dudes are willing to play the one-on-one and it actually matter. Because that's when their pride is on the line.
First of all, that explains a lot of Austin Rivers. Just so you guys, the totality of the Austin Rivers story is right there. Because I also think that it's been we're far enough removed from the time where people don't realize that was supposed to be the guy. Yeah. Like he was a gigantic deal coming out of high school. I also have to tell you, I saw on the internet Brian Shaw telling the story, and I've seen clips of this podcast go around for a long time, so this is not new. But he talked about when he got to the Celtics, and he had assumed that how good could Larry Bird actually be. And he said that Larry Bird challenged him and Reggie Lewis to a game of 1-on-2 to 7. Like he gets the ball first. And Shaw said that he and Reggie Lewis won, but only because Bird missed on point game at 6-0.
My God.
He said he was eating their asses out. And talking to him the whole way. He said he and McHale would be coming down every game talking cash and being
Absolutely.
like, ooh, those some bad white boys. Those some bad white boys. I can't imagine the satisfaction that Larry Bird had to take every time down the floor doing this. And McHale, now that we know his get down a little bit better over the last few years, he's loving. And, they said he was musty too. He was loving every minute of it.
Could you imagine a prime Bird being like a 88, 87, 86, 87 Bird playing a one-on-one at an All-Star weekend, game to 5? Like,
you just got to hope.
He'll probably do it. Like, if he get ball first, I think he does it. If I can get ball first, I'm doing it.
He gets ball first, man. How late would Michael Jordan keep everybody there if he lost? 3 out of 5 then.
Look, real man play 4 out of 7. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. What's up?
We're not leaving, right? They be like, hey, Mike, man, the broadcast is over, dog. Saturday Night Live just came on, man. Like, we you ain't trying to go to the club? Mike being there just mad.
Like, hold up. We still Amara Shah here. We got somebody who can call the game. Tell him, Amara. Tell him.
Nah, man. Like, it was somebody. I just don't know how you make them care, and that's going to be the question. And you can't. The way you might be able to make them care is if you did it by age, but you have to be very careful how you go about that. Like we see what happens to rookie, sophomore, or how that went. I don't even know if they still use that format, but the rookies get destroyed every year because there's such a giant difference. But yeah, what is the what is the inflection point, or what is the line, right? That you divide and you got heat on both sides. And also you gotta be careful with that USA versus the world, because if the world team don't look enough like the USA team, if you know what I mean, you're gonna have audiences cheering against America. You feel me? Like I guess it'll be different if you got Giannis and Shea, but if you get out there with Jokic and Doncic and Lauri Markkanen, you know, that boy Pod's probably bringing his 23andMe to try to get on the team. You know what I mean? They gonna be rooting against America, dog. Like I was proud of America during 2024 because I thought America was gonna root for Serbia, but y'all didn't do that. Good job.
Hey, look, they might be rooting against America, but at least they rooting. Like yesterday, at least they watching.
That is
like,
fair.
hey, we gotta do something. Hey,
that is fair.
Hey, we gotta find a way.
Hey, man.
And if we've learned everything over the course of these last several years, it's easy to find a rooting interest when it comes to those things.
That is fair. I'll also tell you this. If you want to find a way to get somebody to care, we need to get Victor and Chet out there on opposite teams. You're going to see some caring then.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, what was it? Because I always get it mixed up. It was one that was motivated because the other one was putting up numbers. I'm not sure if it was motivated.
They got high school. They got beef going back to, like, high school.
Legit beef,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You got to think about it too. It's comparable for me as a wrestling fan. It's the Andre the Giant, Big John Studd thing between the two of them. It's like Andre the Giant always hated Big John Studd because Big John Studd was a big man, and Andre the Giant was like, I'm the only big man in this game.
Yes.
And it's like, think about it. If you're Chet or if you're Wemby and you're always been the biggest dude, but yet there's another dude who's also known on that side of town as the big dude.
The big dude who does little dude things. Like, think about like what an amazing concept Chet was to us when we found out about him in high school, and then he's coming into college. Like, it was the idea of Chet was amazing. But Chet's not this.
No. like it's like Chet supersized.
Yes.
Like I don't know if Wendy's still doing the Biggie meals, but that's what it is. Wemby is Chet Biggie size.
Yeah, except he's Biggie size, but it also like it's like instead of coming with fries, it comes with like gourmet shiitake mushrooms.
Right.
You know, like it's the handles that are like, what are we doing here?
It's different. It's different. It's different. And I think at least with Wemby, people at least being patient to enjoy it in real time.
Yes.
Because far too often when we see glimpses of young players, it's like, just imagine what he's going to be in 4 to 5 years. Like, enjoy it now, because we know, especially with dudes that size and the injury history that these guys have. You know, I'm not putting him on the same plane, but think about, you know, Porzingis, the things that he was able to do at 7'3" or whomever. Like, hey, just let this play out. Like, enjoy it while we got it right now.
Think of how crazy it is, how much colder he is than Porzingis.
Right. Think about you, Porzingis. I'm 7'3", and I'm playing up against this dude. I'm looking up at him.
And he is pitch. It's not just that he's blocking their shots, man. He is pitching their shots.
Yeah. Right. Then there's a level of aggressiveness too that he's playing like that. Hey, we cool. Now that's out the window. Like, it's a switch with Wemby too. That's like, he ain't all the way there yet, but you can, like, that switch is turned on where it's like, all right, like this different. Like this different.
What?
Like he playing like those, like he playing from those parts of Paris that ain't near the Eiffel Tower.
Yes.
Like he playing like he from them other parts.
Nico would be cool with him though, right? He do play defense. There we go. There we go. Like I say, I want to get a running list of all the players that Nico is like, yeah. Because look, this is the thing about it, and it's because we as a people are a little bit more powerless, but it is hilarious. Like, the black dude that just hates white people is always hysterical because it comes up in all these different weird ways. And we're like, we laugh at our people under these circumstances because like they're generally harmless. Nico, if these two pieces of data that we have received about him are indicative of a trend, is the rare one to actually get some power to be able to do something about this. And what did he do about it? Got his old black ass fired. That's what he did.
Look, he stood on business. I don't know. I don't think it was the right business, but he stood on something.
No, I think. Look, if his thing was Luka don't work hard enough, this isn't the culture I want to build. I got it, man. And you was willing to go down with the shift. Like, there's something that I get to that. But then I saw what he said about Jokic, and I was just like, oh no, you're just You might be that guy. Yeah,
Like, what's the line you use? I'm inclined to think you were a hater.
Yes, yes. Yo, I want to know when he wrote that down on a piece of paper. What did everybody else say when they saw that?
like, they was looking at the phone. Like, what's the Jeff Teague meme where they look at the phone?
Right. Like that's when, if this was a locker room, that's when you lose the locker room.
Right.
Did you hear what he just said?
Right. Like he ain't serious. Like that's the thing too. Like when you can't tell if somebody's serious or not, and he's like, yeah, Jokic, Jrue Holiday. Like, wait a minute, you serious?
Like, you crazy? Except he's not funny. So like Ghostface Killer, the great example of, I can't tell if this is a joke. I don't know if I'm allowed to laugh. Right? This is a different personality type with similar lunacy.
Right.
Oh, what a time, what a time. Shannon Penn, check him out. Afternoons, ESPN Radio, Freddie and Harry. By the way, it is always funny watching Harry tweet about the Falcons games as they are going, because he still does that.
On that narcotic. But see, that's the thing. At least with Harry, like, see, I know you got off that narcotic, but he can't though.
I know.
Like,
he grew up with him and he played for him.
He can't get off that narcotic. Like, each and every week, Mask Monday, see what mask Harry gonna put on. Because each and every Sunday, Falcons are known to let him on down.
Yeah, man. And Penix is not doing the job for him.
Right. And like I hope, look, Raheem, we praying for you, my boy.
Yeah.
We praying for you, my boy.
Dog, it's all they got brothers all over the place there. That quarterback, the coach, the general manager, and
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. They trying their hardest, my brother. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this 3 or 4 times a week. Ryan Brumley handling everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Hit our voicemail line, 323-596-7767. Whatever you want to talk about, we're here for you. 323-596-7767. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe. And if you subscribe, by the way, on YouTube, we're real close to 100,000 subscribers. Do your boy a solid. Just click the fucking button. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars, I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.